This is Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you from New York City, bringing you audio-video books. I'm John Cullum, reading Emily Frankel's novel, Circle of Ivy. In Chapter 1, we meet Ivy having waffles at Cal's, as she always did with her mother, who's been gone for 2 years. We also get to know Evan, her waiter, who enjoys conversing about music and their jobs, and places his hand on Ivy's and says, "There's reason and grace in everything you do." As Ivy leaves the restaurant, she sees her reflection in the glass doors and has to fight against the feeling that she wants to lie down and be asleep like Mama. Chapter 2, Doctor's Office. Bundle of cheer Ivy, all decked out for her appointment, greeted the doctor's receptionist. Hi, surprised to hear herself sounding like Evan Michelin, the waiter. She bent over backwards to get the receptionist talking about herself. Happy Valentine's Day, Carmen. It must be love. You've got a glow you didn't have before. Whatever inspired the girl's mother to give her daughter that fiery name seemed to have backfired. Carmen, like one of the plastic fixtures in the newly renovated office, seemed characterless, only there to serve Dr. Adele Ziegler. Come on now, Carmen. What's up with you and your merchant marine? We're going to be married June 10th. Would you fill out this form, please, for the computer? The computer form on a clipboard was something new. But even before she'd skimmed it, Ivy resented it. She didn't want to be diagnosed by a machine. As the receptionist described the small wedding she was planning, Ivy noted that Carmen's diamond was twin to Eloise's. Ivy tried to shove the vision of the two brides out of her mind, but Carmen, thriving on Ivy's attention, was jabbering about keeping her job, keeping the studio apartment, no new furnishings, not till her marine knew where he was going to be assigned, and then maybe she and her man would start a family. The picture of Carmen and her marine on a chaste, narrow bed dissolved into Eloise with her McDonald's guy. Ivy turned it off before it turned into a vision of herself with Evan Michelin. Sexual fantasies, when you've been not very satisfactorily in a few of them, are O-U-T. She was sweating more than usual. Plunking herself down on the leather waiting room couch, the sigh of the cushion expressed what Ivy was feeling. Dressed for Doctor Day in good luck things, her purple wool cape that Mama had crocheted, the Mexican peasant blouse which Sister Gladys had given her, and Mama's long amethyst necklace, Ivy had an excellent excuse for wearing her Neiman Marcus lingerie. Bridal white panties, slip and camisole, one-size-fits-all satin undies, which she'd bought when she first met Marvin. Exquisite garments she wouldn't have thought to wear today if Mama hadn't squeezed her hand the week before she died and whispered, "Wear your pretty things. Don't save them, Ivy. Pretty underclothes make you feel more attractive. I know you miss that feeling." Those words from Catherine Morley's hospital bed, from the white face, hairless skull, cracked thin lips, hollow cheekbones, sunken eyes, those words echoed. The questionnaire on the clipboard inquired, "Do you have headaches, backaches, joint pains, cough, fever, rashes, nausea, dizziness, constipation, diarrhea, stomach aches, shortness of breath, insomnia, menstrual cramps, hot flashes. Ivy put a big fat X in all the no boxes. She didn't want to be there. She wanted to be at her office at the bank looking into the new project. A $12 million loan for a state children's hospital adoption and foster care facility. The receptionist called out Ivy's name. Ivy stood up and made her way into Adele's dressing room cubicle. They were schoolmates, dear best friends, who'd gone their separate ways. While Ivy was immersing herself in Japanese grammar and economics, Adele had earned a living as a nurse. She climbed the nurses' ladder in Ann Arbor, while Ivy climbed the corporate ladder of the Osaka Bay Electronics Company. Adele, 27, had gotten herself a nurse-doctor degree and a husband, while Ivy, 27, back in Ann Arbor when her Japanese employer sold the business, got herself a Jaguar, a new job, and a lover. Adele, 37, was in her third month expecting a boy, while Ivy was exactly the right age in line for a vice president's title that could lead to her being president of one of the smaller banks. Someday, conceivably, even the head of Michigan Mutual Bank. Ivy donned the paper dress like a backward bathrobe, wondering as she did every year why it wasn't simply donned with the opening in front. Dreading the pelvic exam, hating the thought of her XL bod in a sex position on the paper-covered examining table, Ivy did not remove her silk camisole. Adele wrapped the blood pressure band around Ivy's arm, pumped it, watched the gauges, and listened with her stethoscope. She wrote the numbers on the top page in the Ivy Morley folder and leafed through the older page, biting her lip. Hop on the scale, Ivy. Ivy thinking, fat lady doesn't hop. Feeling as if her friend were her enemy, Ivy stepped carefully onto the springy platform and watched the steel weight as Adele pushed it. 150, 200, 250, 260. It balanced at 267. Last year, Ivy, your weight on this scale was 248. Adele rubbed her stethoscope to warm it, opened the paper gown, moved the camisole out of the way, and placed the instrument on Ivy's chest. Ivy wished she could think of something funny to say, but you don't joke around when a doctor's listening to your heart. Instructing Ivy to inhale and exhale, Adele took her time listening front and back, over and under the breast, left side, right side. Your clothes protect you from unpleasant facts, which glare when you're half naked sitting on a table, unless you close your eyes like Ivy did. You feel dizzy, Ivy? Adele, I feel fine. What do you think of my camisole? Oh, it's very cute. What about exercising, Ivy, like I said? Adele, I'm on duty at the Save-A-Cent shop 3 times a week. 3 times a week. I do a lot of running around, lifting and loading. Ivy, I'm talking about aerobics, cardiovascular exercise. Anything troubling you? I know you've had a hard time since your mother passed away last year. January 5th, Ivy murmured. I know you miss Catherine, Ivy. Ivy, are there problems at the office? My husband and I had dinner with Marvin and Vera, and he mentioned that things were hectic. Ivy mustered a smile. Bank work's always hectic. Marvin's wife, Vera, was one of Adele's regulars. Ivy was careful never to mention Marvin to Adele, except as her boss. Ivy, you need a complete and thorough medical workup. Isn't that why I'm here on Valentine's Day? Ivy straightened the camisole's lacy straps. That's why I wore my fancy duds. There was no reaction from her friend, not even a blink. Adele, my weight's up because it's almost that time of the month. And I had a waffle yesterday, a pizza last night. Ivy, I want you to see Dr. Charles Stewart. He's the best cardiologist in town. Also, I want you to get a stress test from Philip Parsons. See both of them this week. Your blood pressure needs to be regulated, but it's complicated. You may have a metabolic disorder, and you've got a heart murmur, Ivy. Adele fiddled with her pen. The click, tap, tap seemed loud. Adele, haven't I always had a slight murmur? Ivy, what are we going to do about you? Right now, you're not a good candidate for any of the latest new drugs. We've got to get your blood pressure down. We've got to get your weight down. I know I've said that before, Ivy, but diets you've tried don't work. And now, as Adele sighed, tap, tap, click went the pen. Ivy wanted to shout, "You know me, Adele!" She wanted to say what she'd believed for a long time, for as long as she could remember. Ivy G.M. Morley can do what she sets her mind to do. The tap-tapping, the look on Adele's face stopped her. Ivy, we're talking about life and death. Lie back, please. Gorge rising in her throat as her doctor helped her get into the stirrups. Ivy closed her eyes, saw herself on a bier, flickering candles, calla lilies, white roses from Mama's garden. Juliet Ivy in a white silk shroud, like Sleeping Beauty, waiting for a kiss. Adele switched on a lamp and inserted an ice-cold instrument into the private part they'd giggled over as first graders but didn't dare pronounce. Adele told her patient, Ivy, you've been putting on weight every year since you were 16. Obesity can kill you. You've got to lose 100 pounds. And that's the end of chapter 2. This is AI.R. See you next week.